Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role-players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role-Players, we improvise stories to entertain you, and of course to entertain ourselves. And we use role-playing games to keep those stories going places even we can't see coming. Because as theatrical people, we're all about maximising the drama. This is Act 1 of Vigil, Chief Exec, one of our main house productions. The main house is where we stage ongoing, serial stories with characters and plots that develop and unfold over several productions. Vigil is one of those serial stories. The story of the outsiders and weirdos who step up to defend their neighbours from monsters and worse, after the government cuts their town's official team of paranormal investigators. To tell this story, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. Chief Exec is the 8th production in the Vigil story. You don't need to have caught up on the first 7 to enjoy Chief Exec, but they do share a setting, characters, and some ongoing plot threads. So if the backstory hinted at in this production piques your interest, I'd suggest going back and checking out Vigil Bad Dog and Vigil All Aboard. Or you could always scroll back to Vigil Playtime and follow the whole tale from the beginning. Starting now, we'll be releasing a new act of Chief Exec every other week. And to keep you going through the weeks in between, sometimes we'll release backstage episodes that give you a peek behind the scenes. Stay tuned for the first one of those next week. In the meantime, please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role-Players main house production. Chief Exec. Let's meet the players for this brand new main house production.
Hello everybody, my name is Josh and I am playing Jinny Greenteeth, the Spellslinger.
Hi, my name is Vicky and I'm playing Renko the Flake.
Hi, I'm Nat. I'm playing Gwynned, the Divine.
Hello, I'm Martha and I'm playing Harper, the Searcher.
Has anybody been away for a long time? When did we last hear all of these people?
Me, I haven't been in it for ages. And after a campaign of shouting at Matt, he finally let me in another vigil.
You were just so meddlesome last time. We had to bench you for a time.
Made too many mistakes. He's like, right, let's just leave him out for a while.
If you got too cross over not being able to find the right cable and stressing out, we thought it was best that you took a break.
You're on probation, essentially.
Sure, I'm totally cool with that.
Was the last thing you were in a vigil? Or
No, I've done loads of...
You've done other things, but the last vigil was Bad Dog, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago that we recorded that one, so...
That is shocking.
Crazy, isn't it? But yes, I lost everything in that that series, and then Matt benched me for 2 years, and I've just been slowly bubbling and boiling away, plotting my revenge.
Now is your moment.
On Max Dashwood and on Matt.
I was last in Falling Cadence, which was out relatively recently, and my last vigil was Quarry, which was recorded nearly a year ago.
Love Quarry.
Yeah,
such a good
time.
series.
It was a good time.
So much blood.
There was much blood in that
So
series,
much aristocracy.
Yes.
Last seen somewhat unconscious at the end of All Aboard was Gwyn.
Harper was around for the first and last time in All Aboard. I think that's it.
We've got a group with Gwynned has met many of these people before, but then we, at the other end of the spectrum, we have Renko, who has never interacted with any of these people on mic before.
What is double exciting is that's not just true for Renko, but Vicky has never sat around the table with any of the other three players, even though Josh and Nat and I have been really role playing for actual donkeys.
So what's the deal there? Is it something that you message Matt and you're like, listen, there's only certain people I want to do series with,
That's it. I'm like, if you could just...
I thought it was the other way around, is that Matt knew that we would be too powerful a combination.
True. That's the one.
So
That's the one.
kept it apart.
I've actually been... Sorry, Josh, about this, but I've been mentioning to Matt that I haven't played with Nat around the table for Millie Role Players for approximately 3 years. I keep bringing that up, and then I was like, oh yeah, and Josh.
I'm finally powerful enough to cope with it.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, I'd never met Matt in person before today. So like
You've done so much online.
Yeah, it's all been digital. First time around the table. Period.
Yeah.
This is very exciting.
Should we just hang out rather than play this
sorry,
game?
Guys,
This
end
looks
of
like
episode.
this. You finish these and you're tired, you're headachy, you're a bit emotionally exhausted. Like, let's just go and get brunch or get dinner
But
pint
I've done
or something.
so much prep, Josh.
Shut up, nerd.
It's going to be emotional trauma.
We know.
Can't deal with it.
It's going to be a very interesting energy around the table today.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
How would you say, Matt, you feel about the four of these characters all coming together? Like, do you plot, a bit of backstage info for the audience?
Not in terms of planning out, I want this particular dynamic, but I like when I work out who is going to be in one. It's like, oh, that's an interesting thing. Like, we've got two very folksy, woodsy people and two slightly more modern, urban people in this one. How that's going to interact.
And as per the details in my contract with Merely Role Players, Nat has to be in every Vigil and most studio shows that I ever do. This is like 6 in a row or something like that.
I've never played with either of you, and the two of you have played together.
Every single time. I'm like, I will finally be the old lady, the only old folksy one, and Gwyn just flies in.
It's like we stopped playing home games together as well, because
Yeah.
we were in all of those together.
Right.
Yep.
Too much,
man. Yeah. And I still get our names confused. So.
Yeah,
And
we're still on track for that as well. So.
Yeah. And I guarantee I'm going to do your accent at some point by mistake, because I power it off of people. So.
Sticks. It can't be helped.
Yeah.
I feel like with this energy, we are all about ready to take the stage. Would you agree?
Yes.
I would agree.
Renko, your phone rings. It's Joan Noble, your contact, who you used to work with at the Department of Admissions. Now you're on furlough. She's left entirely and is working as a chemist. And a little while ago, you called in a favour from Joan to analyse some weird blood.
I certainly did.
How do you feel when you see her name come up on your caller ID?
Oh, I think I'm probably a little frustrated because I think she never got back to me about the, it was quite a high pressure situation and I wanted answers more immediately than I think. And so I'm keen to know what she's got to say, but also maybe slightly nervous that there might be a favour that I now owe her, like I might now owe her something in return.
And as Renko picks up the phone, remind us what Renko looks like.
So Renko is a woman in her late 30s. She tends to be wearing a kind of slightly shabby work attire left over from her time working for the Department of Admissions. So it's kind of like a very plain grey or beige suit with a white shirt. I think she's probably got her sleeves rolled up and the jacket off. If she's in busy mode, then that's how she makes herself comfortable.
Yeah, if you are in busy mode, whereabouts are you when you get this call?
Maybe in my home office or something like that. Like I'm just doing Renko's always doing paperwork at the beginning of a mystery, so she's doing some paperwork.
I don't think we've seen Renko's apartment before. It's incredibly spare and sparse.
Yeah. I think Renko has actually has a lot of personal connections to Sherrydown and has lived there for a long time. But I think because she was first of all working for the department, she was assuming that she would always get called upon to go and live somewhere else, and she probably had department funding for whatever accommodation she had. And then when she went on furlough, she didn't really have any more money to furnish it appropriately. So it's always just been a kind of feeling like something that's quite temporary and maybe not particularly lived in, because she's always been expecting that she would just need to move on at any moment and never has.
Looks like you moved in this week or are moving out this week.
Exactly. Bit of both, yeah.
Not like someone who's lived here all her life. Renko, hi.
Hi, Joan. How's it going?
It's going. You know how it is.
I do indeed know how it is, Joan. Yeah.
You probably guessed from the fact that I'm phoning that I want something out of you.
Yeah, I mean, I did assume that, I did call in a favour, and it was quite a lot of work for you, so, even though I didn't get anything useful from it, I'm happy to help within reason.
Hey, look, it busted my machinery, okay? The readouts were absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have helped you. But still, and it's not exactly a tit for tat thing, it's about my electoral registration and my voter ID. And I know that you never actually worked for the council, but I know you took your cover a bit more seriously than the rest of the members of your team. So maybe you know a little bit more about how things work there. Maybe still know some people who work in the town hall. It's just the mayoral election's coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
And normally I wouldn't be bothered, but there's this wild card candidate suddenly, and I'm thinking I might actually vote for her. So I need to get it sorted, and it's a little bit late in the day, and there's something funky going on with, they need voter ID now.
Yes, yeah.
I don't have a passport, I don't have a driving licence, so I need to apply for this thing, and they're saying I need to come in during office hours at the town hall to pick it up, and I can't get away from work during that time. So I know that you're a little bit more flexible, so I was wondering if you could go there and sort it out for me.
Yeah, I mean, I know a whole lot of people that work there, so yeah, I'm sure I can go and pick that up for you. I mean, voting's very important, so yeah, I'm happy to help in this case.
You'd be doing me a real solid.
Yeah, I can go and do that.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Whenever's good for you, but obviously I need it before polling day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have some free time today, actually. Maybe I'll just pop by today, and then I can drop it around for you.
Oh, fantastic! You're an absolute saint. We're totally quits after this. Anything you need.
Great. Well, thanks, Joan. I'll be in touch if there's anything else I need from you to get that sorted.
So, Renko, how much attention have you been paying up to this point to the upcoming mayoral elections?
I think it depends on whether or not Renko thinks there's anything going on that's not above board.
Renko would know already that the incumbent mayor, Jackie Danbrook, is a not especially high ranking, but still a member of the English Sorcery Guild.
Right.
She is a wizard of some description.
Okay, so I would be interested in her.
And I don't know how much attention Renko pays to the news or to stuff coming through her letterbox. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Would you have heard much about this new wildcard candidate that's running against her?
I feel like I would be aware of who they were. I think it probably is true that Renko is not super invested in anything related to what she would consider to be mundane activities. But because a member of the English Sorcery Guild is the current mayor, she's interested, but from that perspective, only in the perspective of if there's the potential for, what's the potential for trouble? What's the potential for something out of the ordinary going on?
So probably somewhere in your flat right now is a flyer that has come through your door at some point in the last week announcing the candidacy of Boudica Morgan, who is running under the campaign slogan, Boudica Morgan will fight for this community. And it has a picture of a black-haired, noble-featured woman on the flyer.
Would I know anything about that person's background?
Only if you've looked into it.
I probably haven't, because that does just feel like it's the mayoral election. I'm probably assuming that Jackie's going to win. So unless anything else pops up, I'm not going to question it. I would have just looked at the flyer, logged that, and then moved on.
Jackie's absolutely the everybody just votes for her because she's kind of inoffensive.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything to piss anybody off. That kind of candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and politics must be quite difficult because you see through people's lies. So
yes.
For you, politicians, speaking is lie.
Maybe that's why I've always appreciated Jackie, because I'm she's not
she doesn't
excessive in the lying, just the normal amount, rather than being this person is clearly hiding something full corruption.
Spin rather than heinous lies.
Yeah.
So, Renko, you know that this thing that Joan's asking you to do is absolutely the sort of thing that is best done by going physically to the town hall and buttonholing somebody in person.
Yeah.
Jinny Greenteeth. Last time we saw you, the CEO of Lundor Group, Max Dashwood, had just turned up on your turf in your Grove of Oddities, in your stone circle in the woods, and informed you that he was going to buy that land and that there was nothing you could do about it. And then he teleported away in a very rude way.
Obnoxious teleporting.
Kabow!
I'm just going to put obnoxious teleport next to his name as a way of remembering who he is. Yeah, that will help.
See, I've just written bastard next to his name, so that's how I
To be
remember
honest,
it.
that's usually what I do.
Yeah, I just hate this dude so much.
Well, tell us, how have you been attempting to fight this, if you have, and how is Jinny feeling?
Ginny's cross, Matt. Ginny is very upset. Ginny knows that this isn't just a coup to take over a small business, because the Grove of Oddities and the shop is about something bigger. It's sort of like a protective gate around that protects the forest and the portals to the Fae and therefore the town. And so she knows it's just the sort of start of what the Sorcerers Guild will do. They'll start at the gift shop and they will end with taking over the whole town. So she's furious. Has she fought it? How much time has passed? Roughly.
Several months at the very least.
Okay.
You've been receiving letters, none of which are sort of rude or bullying. They're all just very, very matter of fact, informing you at what stage the sale is. You know that the situation with land ownership in the UK is very arcane. So you probably don't actually own the land you're on. Some organisation somewhere, or maybe some department of the Crown might own it. And so they're dealing directly with that, and they're just sending letters to inform you what stage things are at. And in the same way a lot of wizards might, in the heat of battle, surround themselves with a wall of fire, or a wall of wind, or a wall of ice, Max Dashwood appears to have surrounded himself with a wall of lawyers.
Oh, that's the worst wall.
Yeah.
That was one of my options on my character sheet, but I didn't want to take it. Wall of lawyers, yeah.
So however Jinny has been dealing with this situation, the one thing that she has not categorically been able to do is contact Max Dashwood again.
So I think she's tried to fight it, but she knows it's unlikely to work. She's not au fait enough with modern rules and modern laws. And so she's tried to contact him, she's tried to sort it out, but it's just gone nowhere. I have another big question. Has she been evicted yet? I'm just thinking that maybe she's left the site and is now in the woods sulking and plotting and planning her revenge.
Nobody has come around to kick you out of your home yet, but it's quite possible that it doesn't feel like home as much as it did before.
So I see it as she's already started to evict herself because she doesn't want the bailiffs and whoever else to swoop in while I've got all the magic arcane stuff in there.
And just the indignity of being like an old lady thrown out of your cottage.
Yeah, that's sad. It would look good publicity-wise on the front page of the Sherrydown Gazette. Like, that would be very damaging for Max Dashwood, but I don't think he cares. And the thing is, Jinny can't fight it because they're more powerful than she is magic-wise. She can't just blow everybody away and summon a storm because Max Dashwood has got his wall of lawyers and his obnoxious teleportation spells. So they're powerful, right?
Yeah, and the latest thing is that this is the sort of thing that really, and this is probably what your neighbours are advising you to do, sort of both the magical ones that we've met and any other neighbours that you happen to have. Maybe the National Trust team in the forest might have advised you about this. This is the sort of thing the council should be helping you fight. But of course, they've been stonewalling as well, because as we know, Jackie Danbrook, the mayor, is a member of the English Sorcery Guild. Max Dashwood is an incredibly high up bigwig in the English Sorcery Guild. The current council is very much in his pocket.
I smell corruption.
Yeah, this is what they do. They push and they bully us in Sheridan because there's just so much potential and power and good nature in this town. But the bigger boys come in and push us around and it's not fair.
So I think it's probably Adrienne at the National Trust team who bullies you in the nicest possible way into coming with her to the town hall to actually try and talk to somebody at the council. Renko, you used to work in the town hall when you were a full-fledged member of the Department of Emissions. What's something that made the town hall of Sheridan a frustrating place to work?
I think only one set of toilets and they're really far away from where everyone works.
Oh, come on.
No.
It's just a long walk every time you need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That is kind of emblematic of the building as a whole. Everything inside the town hall of Sheridan is badly signposted in a way that feels intentional.
Yeah.
surgery and office hours are not easy to find on the website, all that kind of thing. It all just feels like there's a lot of kind of obfuscation going on and not anything sort of, there are no big signs saying do not come here and talk to the council, but there's just all of these little hurdles and barriers that are put in the way. And so Adrienne drags Jinny into the main foyer of the town hall just as Renko is also arriving.
Hello, Antigone.
Oh, God.
How are you keeping?
Hi, Jinny. I'm good, thank you. And as we've previously discussed, surnames only.
Why did you call me Jinny then and not Greenteeth?
Well, because you use your first name with everyone else, but I don't use mine.
Listen. Let's not quibble and dibble and fiddle.
You are so infuriating.
I've been brought here. The bastards are trying to intimidate me. I've been dragged in here by Adrienne, you know, the girl with the green hair.
Hi, Adrienne.
She's
good to
standing
see
right
you.
next to me.
Yeah,
It's good to know.
Yeah, she's been there the whole time. Yeah.
She's dragged me down here to go and speak to some of these bureaucratic bastards and try and get a decision overturned, but it won't be overturned.
She's just taking all her frustration out on us at the moment. We don't hear the end of it. I thought we needed to direct it at the people who can actually do something about it.
Do you know who you need to speak to?
Not exactly, but I just thought it was worth sort of pointing Jinny at the town hall and letting her
Absolutely
fly.
not.
Okay, well, that's one option.
Waste of
but
time.
I'm wondering if there is a slight alternative. I have a very specific errand that I need to, which is why I'm here, but I'm wondering if we can find somebody who would be the right person to speak to, because I agree we should be talking to somebody, but maybe not just letting Jinny fly at the town hall itself.
I agree. We should take it higher. I've said what we need to do is exact swift revenge.
No.
I've got a lot of powerful friends in the Fae that will be willing to fight for us, and I mean fight. I don't mean fight with pencils like you do, my love. Yeah. I mean take the battle to Max Dashwood and blow that whole bloody building to bits.
Yeah. Renko, you see Adrienne has taken several steps back and is extricating herself from this situation.
I understand, and that is definitely a course of action that is available to us should we need it. But in the meantime, let's just see if there is somebody who can help us.
I've been training. I've been coming up and plotting with all sorts of big magic that we can do to take the organisation down.
Okay, and we should talk about that later, but we shouldn't talk about that here. When the mayor is a member of the English Sorcery Guild.
Cut to Renko and Jinny sitting on plastic bucket chairs in a corridor outside a door with like an office hours sign on it, which says that it should be open right now, but it does not seem to be. You're by kind of a big bank of windows. You can see it's a relatively pleasant but slightly overcast kind of day. You've been waiting here for about half an hour, and the energy is starting to bleed out of the situation.
Is there like an incredibly obnoxiously loud clock?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, just going one, yeah.
And it's wrong.
Yeah. It's off.
Antigone, sorry. Ms. Renko. Firstly, I can't believe that you've talked me into sitting down on this uncomfortable chair for such an ungodly amount of time. Will you join me? I know that you're trying to do this by the book, and that is your prerogative, but have you thought about... This goes beyond small government. This goes beyond the mayor. This goes so much higher up. We need to take action. We need to get as many people together as possible. We need to call on all of our friends. We need to get Cameron here. We need to get Graham here. We need to find Meg, and we need to find Briar. We need to bring everybody together, and we need to fight. So let's just pack all this in and let's just go home. And I would like to try and manipulate her.
Good luck.
First roll of the production. This is Monster of the Week, and in Monster of the Week, when we want to do something like manipulate someone, we roll 2 6-sided dice, add them together, and add an appropriate rating.
Okay, so I'm attempting to manipulate another hunter, Renko. I have a -1 to charm, because no one takes me seriously. But I do have a +1 when I'm manipulating Doom.
Ah, interesting.
So this is just a straight roll.
Okay.
Yeah? Shall we see what happens? It's a 7. On a 7 to 9, they mark experience if they do what you ask. Think about it.
It's at this moment that it happens. A second sun blooms in the sky through the windows above Sheridan.
Oh dear. Yeah, second sun's never a good sign, is it?
I think maybe we've got bigger problems than this.
The clouds shred in a circle around this blazing light, and It's hard to look upon, but in the moment it manifests before you're forced to turn your eyes away, you see, hovering in the sky above Sheridan, at about the height of like a 12 or 13 story building, the size of a private jet, a maddening whirligig of spinning, meshing silver wheels, blazing white eyes, and blurring peacock feathers. And a voice rattles the window panes and eardrums of all of Sheridan. Better the devil you know. And it disappears.
Steps are here. It disappears. The second sun is gone.
Everything's gone.
Okay.
Back to normal.
The hole in the cloud remains, but you see the clouds now start to sort of drift in a normal pattern and kind of fill it in.
I walk over to the window and look outside. Is the scene serene, peaceful, or is everybody going, what on earth was that?
You see a lot of people looking up at the sky. You see some phones out pointing at the sky. You see, in fact, not pointing at the sky anymore. You see mostly people out there, like, on their phones or talking to each other frantically.
And then they're going to, I mean, most people are going to then forget what's happened, maybe.
Renko, this is probably a good time to roll your beginning of session move.
I thought it might be.
At the beginning of a mystery, the Flake rolls a move called Connect the Dots.
Yep. Here we go.
Let's go. Big roll.
It's a 5, 6, 7, 8.
On a 7 to 9, you hold 1
Yeah.
to ask a question.
One question.
Later in the mystery.
Oh, can I have my token? Yeah, get in.
She gets stuff.
As the two of you stare out the window at the scene, and as the wheels of Renko's mind begin to turn and try and connect the dots, Gwynned.
Yes.
Your living situation's changed since we last saw you.
Yeah, I think living in Briar's Tree has been a nice time while she's been getting used to modern life, but also living in a commune of Fae is also has its downsides. There's a lot of noise all the time, and you never, like, you can't own things. The minute you get a walkie-talkie that you're supposed to be responsible for, like, you put it down, it's gone missing. So that, in combination with an incredible amount of guilt, I think, has led Gwynedd to currently be occupying the abbey that Percy left vacant. I think she's been rattling around in there. So knowing that it was sort of ultimately, theoretically, a good thing, and Percy chose to go of her own accord, it wasn't like she was destroyed or killed or kidnapped or otherwise. That's, Gwyn has not been sent on some kind of holy vengeance quest to recover her. That's okay. But has definitely been rattling around the abbey, feeling a little bit without purpose for a bit, I think, because she'd spent a little while watching over, and has been sort of not really moving Percy's belongings, but also sort of trying to figure out, well, I'm not used to things, but should I put this differently? She's been just trying to figure out what this is like.
Sort of milling around the Frankenstein's laboratory that was Percy's tower laboratory. Her maps and things are still spread out on the big table. There are devices around that Gwynedd probably has no way to fathom what they do.
Not clear.
And also at a little writing desk in the corner, Gwyn finds a stack of hand-addressed letters.
Oh my gosh, there's actual letters!
Darling Gwyn, subtle as you have been in your execution of it, I know you believe that you have a duty to protect me. Please don't feel that my departure signals a failing of any kind on your part. Since I arrived, I have been planning to leave. However the parting comes about, I feel sure that your protection has played an important role in getting me to where I needed to be. In recent weeks, I have felt that my exit may be imminent, so I must take this chance to confess. I have seen the ring that you wear. It is sister to my time travel amulet. I know not whether it contains a power of its own, but I do know that you will look after it and prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, lest it does retain some power or other. Perhaps it will also serve as a reminder of our friendship, which cannot be diminished by our separation. With thanks for your loyalty and your companionship, Percy.
I think Gwyn has been wearing the ring that she found, which historically we said had somehow made its way into her nest when she was a duck, and she still had it, probably on a chain about her neck. And will have taken comfort from that, but still would have been like, this is not... what emotions? What are emotions? These are mortal things. I'm not sure what to do with this.
This is the day after the strange manifestation in the sky.
Oh, okay, wow.
Which Gwyn also witnessed from wherever
Yes.
she was at the time. Also present in Percy's tower in this scene is Harper.
Hello.
What brings the two of you together in this particular time? Is it a reaction to the manifestation, the apparition in the sky, or what? Did you have a pre-existing arrangement?
I wonder if Gwyn has only just found these and only just sort of had not had a chance to give them to everyone else. It's just sort of this is Percy's place and I'm going to guard it until she comes back for a little while. But then will eventually have sort of come out to see other people again. So maybe we've been in contact somehow. I think Gwyn does have a phone now, maybe.
Do you have
but is really not sure. Maybe it's
I can sense
Percy's old phone.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Percy's old
phone.
It's figuring out the modular telephone, but you know how those things work.
Yes, I can teach you. Don't worry, Granny. Yeah, I think Harper, between the last time we saw them and the Great Fire, she got to know some more of the hunters and probably Percy, and they realized they had some things in common, specifically their love for investigating and martial arts, and that she might have been invited at some point, or they were training together. She would have found a way of having them hang out, and at some point maybe been invited into the Abbey's tower. And when she saw what was in there, she was like, "Oh my goodness, it's a treasure trove! This is amazing!" She was just like, "How do I get my hands on this stuff?" And then probably didn't realize Percy was gone for a while because she wasn't about when that happened. Texted her on the phone, and Gwyn responded.
Yes.
And was like, "Oh, there's something you should know, but this is Gwyn we're talking about, emotion." So they probably got together, figured that out, and then when I saw that you had moved into Percy's place, and you were kind of like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I've sort of been hanging out there with you and being like, I'm going to help you keep things in order.
Can we say that this is the first time that someone else has
Yes.
come over and Gwyn has some vague idea that you're supposed to be a host and do things like put the tea on. But in Briar's Tree, that just kind of happens because magic. So now there is a kettle situation. And Harper's American.
That
Oh, we got to roll sharp to see if you can turn the kettle on.
No one's having a cup of tea.
We're having cold water. We've been teabagging.
So we begin this scene with you both trying to put out a fire in the kitchen.
No, not the map. Yeah, and also Harper's really trying to uncurl the issues with time travel and the fact that if Percy's now back in her own time, how is all of this shit still here? Because then she wouldn't have come here in the first place, or she would have lived her whole life in the past, and then did she leave clues for us? There's stuff we're missing. What's going on? How does this work? Also trying to help and sort of compiling and getting a lot more information. I guess Sheridan specific information, which she didn't maybe have before. She's more into the weird, either in general in the UK or coming from the States and trying to make connections, but this town is a freaking mystery. She's she's in college. She has her classes, she has stuff to do, but then anything to do with the UK or how anything actually works here is already another mystery that she has to unravel. The mundane side of it is I'm sorry, what? Where do I have to go? What do I have to sign? What papers? So she's kind of trying to do those two things at the same time.
There's been a lot of staring at paperwork and going, between the two of
Basically.
us.
You know when you're okay, I have the real life stuff and the weird mysteries. I'm just going to push all this paperwork of council things up to the side and let's focus on the
I
monsters.
hear if you put it under the doormat, then it does not
it
exist.
goes away.
I think.
The pixies take it.
This is what Briar said to me.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
I do have another question, actually,
Yes.
Matt, about Gwyn's sisters. They are still stuck in their crow form.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if there's a small part of that tower that Gwyn has cleared just in case the crows decide to come visit.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of informal rookery and
That's lovely.
yeah.
And creepy.
I don't know if
So
they would or
gothic.
not, but it's there ready for them if they want to.
They haven't yet,
Okay.
but it's ready.
Okay.
It's
But I don't want a
there.
bunch of birds looking at me.
Sad empty rookery.
It's okay. They'll make their way here, I'm sure.
But are you sure that they actually got to Sherrydown, though? Like, they got off the...
I mean, like, sure. I was a bit busy, sort of like space traveling. I think. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, we could. Have we not? How much do we trust Calistarius and his ability to recollect things? Because he was on the train back, right? Yeah, he was helping.
And Jess.
Yeah, true. Sorry, the whole kid thing is just. I have a problem with trusting anything that comes out of her mouth at the moment, but that's a me thing. I realize that. It's fine. I mean, you could always go find your
Well, no, I have tried. I've
sisters.
flown around and it's been very quiet.
Oh. Where do you usually, where do you usually hang out? The Morrigan
Wafts out of the tower window to the Briarwood Forest.
Yeah, just some wafting.
Yeah, I mean, how fond are you of hiking? Like, I think it's a lovely weekend activity. You could just start walking around the forest in
No, that's what I'm saying. I have done. I wouldn't walk. I would fly. When there are mundane people about, I would obviously walk. But that's what it's literally my job to look after their place. So I'm there quite a lot.
All right.
And they would not.
A raven and a crow land in Gwynn's makeshift rookery.
Speak of the literal devil.
Not a devil. They're technically different. Abominations that need to be destroyed.
If you say so.
Yes.
Harper's just going to turn around and go like, I'll just get a couple cups of tea.
They hop down off the windowsill and both transform. The crow into your sister Branwen in modern dress. So sort of similar to how Gwyn looks when she's sort of going incognito, except a little more smart, a little more like woman about town.
Okay.
And the raven transforms into somebody that each of you recognises as something different.
Interesting.
Harper, you recognise this as a woman you've seen on flyers around town.
Oh, there she is.
Of course.
Boudica Morgan, the wild
That
card
surname wasn't a
candidate
mistake, folks.
for the mayorship of Sherrydown.
Don't need,
As soon as Matt said it,
Yeah,
Josh and I
yeah.
clocked each other. Like, yeah.
yeah. You
know
don't
what's
need to be a flake to work that out.
You don't.
And Gwynedd recognises this woman as the Morrigan,
Which one?
but one single aspect. And this is very wrong, Gwynedd. When the Morrigan is split, as she has been of late,
Yeah.
when she is not of one mind, she splits and each of her three aspects can take the form only of a raven.
Yeah.
You can tell from your connection to the Morrigan, this is a single aspect, but she is taking a human form.
Huh. Which aspect?
So Gwynedd might have different names for these. I have been thinking of the three aspects of Morrigan as the Hearth Mother, the goddess of the ring of firelight and everything that sits within it, the Forest Hag, the goddess of everything outside the ring of firelight, the witch in the woods who makes bargains, and the War Chieftain, the goddess of battle and leading the clan against its enemies.
I feel like we know which one this is.
Yep.
This is the War Chieftain, who you know has been in the ascendant of late, like she has been the one that has been sort of gaining in power, but to have got to this point where she can take human form without her sisters present, this is imbalance the likes of which you've never seen.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to my home. We'll start fussing with some papers.
Would you like a cup of tea?
This is Harper.
Ah, you have taken on retainers, Gwynedd.
Oh, more of a colleague.
The Morrigan gives you, Harper, a very intense stare. You feel that she's seeing to the core of you, and you see, is Sombra with you at the moment, or is Sombra off doing their own thing?
I think they're probably off doing their own thing.
She fully clocks the fact that you have no shadow right now, and doesn't seem fazed by it, seems to just sort of, chucks her chin up like, yes, I understand what's going on here.
I think Harper's like, so.
Yeah.
Both of them accept a tea.
It's not very good, but...
And Boudica Morgan, the Morrigan, takes whatever seems to be the most prominent seat in the room, crosses her legs, sits back with her cup of tea. I have a task for you once again, Gwyneth.
What can I do for you, my queen?
Why don't you roll your move? The divine at the beginning of a mystery rolls Boss from Beyond.
Yep.
Yeah, there we
it's
go.
the Snake Eyes.
Oh, Snake Eyes.
Of course, we can't have a mystery without the Morrigan getting involved and making it much harder
Love
for us.
it.
This is why I don't want to play with Nat anymore, Matt. We talked about this.
Gwyneth, I have determined that my route back to ascendancy in this world, to relevance and power, is to lead this clan as the clan understands leadership. However, another stands in my way. Gwyneth, it is your task to remove this obstacle.
Oh dear.
The woman, the mortal wizard, Jackie Dambrook, died this week at your hand. Alright, lovies. It's me, Matt, your compere. I hope you've all enjoyed this uninterrupted first act of Vigil, Chief Exec. There will now be an interval of 2 weeks, during which you can enjoy a backstage glimpse into our character creation process. As you'll see from your programmes, I've got no big announcements to make this week, but do stay tuned for the credits and the epilogue. Just before that, though, if you've enjoyed this episode, you might enjoy checking out The Monsters Playbook, another podcast running the role-playing game Monster of the Week. Here's the Monsters Playbook team now to give you a flavour of what they're all about.
My name is Johnny, and I'm the host, executive producer, and Prince of Lies for the Monsters Playbook. What's the Monsters Playbook? It's an actual play Monster of the Week podcast set in my hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota, where no monster can hurt you as badly as you can hurt yourself. It's a character-focused adventure where you'll meet Kira Ashwood, a journalist with a cult past she's desperate to atone for, and a secret power hidden even from herself. Casey Davis, a taciturn secret agent becoming disillusioned with the agency she thought she could trust. Theo Nessos, a professional sorceress trying to escape the shadow of her powerful magical family. And Mark Clayton, a pretty haunted introvert who just wants to make sense of his powers and all the weird things that keep happening to him. This is a show where danger could just as easily come from an otherworldly threat as from the fragile emotions that anchor our characters and bind them together. If you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Dresden Files, or any city-set supernatural story with monstrous threats and messy feelings, check out The Monsters Playbook. New episodes every other Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Role Players. It stars Natalie Winter as Gwynned, Vicky as Renko, Marta da Silva as Harper, and Josh Yard as Jinny Greenteeth. I'm Matt Boothman and I play the supporting cast. Editing and sound design by me, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Role Players is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on. Responding. Agent, this is Omission Control. You are being retasked effective immediately. Memorize these orders, then destroy the device. Lysint is reporting an increase in recall incidents. It's inconsistent. It appears the large majority of hazardous manifestation events remain under omission, but certain recent Hazmans are confirmed to have breached the long-term memory block. Cause unconfirmed, but the shift seems to coincide with the re-establishment of non-executive inter-realm transit. This is not a crisis yet, but if the situation continues to escalate... You are a capable man, Agent. Everyone we've been able to retain is of necessity capable. But, as a fellow pragmatist, I'm sure you would be among the first to confess that the omission effect does a large part of our work for us. Any threat to omission is a threat to this department's effectiveness, and I am inclined to take that rather personally. Right, Control. And your orders? Investigate the cause of this alteration to omission. Find out why Valerie is still able to go about her business safely forgotten, while tongues are still wagging about the manifestation of the searing tongue in Sherrydown nearly 6 weeks after the fact. And, to the best of your ability, bring the full omission effect back online. Copy that, Control. I have got to get out of this town.